They laughed at you. They whispered behind your back. They counted you out before you even had a chance to show them what you were made of. They looked at your dreams and called them impossible. They looked at your vision and said it was too big. They thought you were nobody, just another face in the crowd, another voice that wouldn't matter. But here's the truth. They refused to see you were never nobody. Every setback, every doubt thrown your way, every moment they underestimated you, it was all fuel. Fuel for your rise, for your strength, for your power. And now, while they sit in their disbelief, while they replay their own judgment in their minds, you are standing tall, unshaken, undeniable. And the truth is this: they are ashamed. Ashamed because the very person they wrote off has become the living proof that greatness cannot be silenced, cannot be ignored, and cannot be denied. They thought you were nobody. Now they're ashamed. There was a time when they didn't see you. They didn't hear your voice. They didn't believe in your dreams. They looked at you and said, "You're nothing. You'll never make it." They dismissed your ideas, laughed at your ambition, and treated your potential like it was invisible, as if your determination was just a passing fancy and your dreams were too big for someone like you. But here's the thing. They didn't know who they were dealing with. They didn't understand that inside you, there was a fire burning brighter than their doubt, a spirit unbreakable, and a resolve that no amount of ridicule could extinguish. Every time they underestimated you, every time they doubted you, every time they whispered behind your back or shook their heads at your vision, you were quietly growing. You were learning. You were grinding. You were preparing yourself for the moment when their disbelief would collide with your unstoppable rise. You see, greatness has a way of making itself known. It doesn't wait for permission, it doesn't ask for approval, and it certainly doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. And now, here you are, standing taller than ever, stronger than ever, more focused than ever, a living testament to the power of resilience and faith in oneself. They are watching now, some with shock, some with envy, some with a creeping shame they can't even hide, because the very person they laughed, the person they treated as inconsequential, has become undeniable. The world sees it, and more importantly, you feel it. This is your moment. And it didn't happen by chance. It happened because you refused to let their judgment define you. You refused to bow to their opinions, and you refused to allow their disbelief to limit your vision. Every obstacle they thought would stop you became a stepping stone. Every insult, every dismissal, every scoff fueled your determination. They wanted you to fail, but they only made you stronger. They tried to break your spirit, but it only forged it into something unshakable. They thought they could bury you under their disbelief, but they forgot one thing. What is meant to rise will rise, no matter how hard the world pushes down. And as you look back on the journey that brought you here, you realize that every no they gave you every time they counted you out was actually a blessing in disguise, a way to build your strength, to test your patience, and to refine your purpose. You didn't rise to spite them. You rose because you were created for greatness, because the fire inside of you could not be contained by anyone's doubts or fears. And now when they see you succeeding, when they see you living the life they said was impossible, when they see your confidence, your power, your unstoppable momentum, they feel something they never expected. They feel shame. Shame for underestimating you. Shame for mocking you. Shame for thinking that your dreams were too big, too bold, too impossible. And here's the thing about shame. It lingers, it festers, it makes them question themselves, and makes them realize the cost of ignoring potential, the cost of refusing to recognize greatness when it's standing right in front of them. But you don't need their recognition. You don't need their approval. You don't need them to finally acknowledge your worth, because your worth was never defined by their perception. Your worth was built in the quiet moments, in the hard work they couldn't see, in the choices you made when nobody was watching, in the relentless commitment to your vision that they mocked. And so your rise is not just a triumph, it's a declaration. It's a message to everyone who ever doubted you, everyone who ever laughed at you, everyone who ever whispered that you weren't enough. I am capable, I am unstoppable. And their shame is not your victory. It's the mirror reflecting the strength they never recognized, the potential they never believed in, the fire they never knew existed inside of you. So continue to rise, continue to shine, continue to prove to yourself that every trial, every dismissal, every setback was only preparing you for this very moment. Stand tall in your power unapologetically, with faith in your purpose, knowing that your journey, your growth, your achievements cannot be denied. And as you move forward, let your life be the proof that greatness cannot be silenced, cannot be ignored, and cannot be diminished by the doubt of others. Let their shame be a reminder of what they lost by underestimating you, but never let it be a measure of your worth. Because your worth, your strength, your triumph is yours alone, and it is a force the world cannot ignore. Every step you take now is a step into the life they said you couldn't have. Every achievement you claim is a testament to the power of resilience, of faith, of persistence, and of a belief in yourself so unshakable that nothing, not ridicule, not doubt, not dismissal, can stand in your way. You are the living proof that those who dare to believe in themselves, who dare to rise above the noise of negativity, who dare to keep moving when everyone else says stop, are the ones who leave a mark, a legacy, and a story that cannot be erased. And now, as they watch, as they whisper, as they realize their mistake, let it be known. This is the rise of someone they underestimated, someone they dismissed, someone they thought would never matter. But you were always destined to shine. You were always destined to win, and they are left with nothing but the echo of their own misjudgment and the undeniable truth that the person they thought was nobody has become everything they never imagined. From doubt to dominance, they thought you would fail. There was a time when they doubted you, when they looked at you with skepticism, when they shook their heads as if your dreams were too big, your vision too bold, and your potential impossible to reach. They said things like, "You'll never make it. Who do you think you are?" They whispered about your limitations, they laughed at your aspirations, and they treated your determination like a fleeting spark that would burn out before it could even light the path forward. But they were wrong. They didn't know you. They didn't understand the quiet strength that burned inside you, the relentless commitment to your goals, the courage that refused to bow under pressure, and the fire that only grew hotter every time someone told you no. You see, the world will always try to make you small. It will always try to confine you, to limit your possibilities, to whisper doubts into your ears, and plant seeds of fear in your mind. But greatness doesn't wait for permission. Greatness doesn't shrink to make others feel comfortable. Greatness rises unapologetically, powerfully, and without compromise. Every moment of doubt thrown your way became fuel for your determination. Every insult, every dismissal, every scornful laugh became a stepping stone on the path to your triumph. And while they were focused on your weaknesses, while they tried to point out every flaw, while they bet against you quietly, you were building an empire of resilience, of discipline, and of unshakable faith. You were learning lessons they couldn't see, developing strength they didn't understand, and preparing for a future they didn't dare to imagine. And now the moment has come when all that preparation, all that perseverance, all that silent work has blossomed into undeniable proof of your potential. You have risen, and their disbelief has turned into shock, their doubt has turned into regret, and their laughter has turned into shame. Because the person they thought would fail, the person they assumed would crumble under pressure, has not only survived, they have thrived, they have transformed, they have taken every obstacle, every betrayal, every discouraging word and turned it into power, into clarity, into momentum that cannot be stopped. And here's the truth. They will never be able to take this away from you. They will never be able to erase the work you put in when nobody was watching. They will never be able to undermine the resilience you built, the discipline you mastered, the vision you nurtured in secret while they slept comfortably in their doubt. Your rise is not about proving them wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you were always capable, that you were always destined to achieve greatness, and that nothing outside of your own courage and commitment could ever limit you. And as you look back on the journey, you realize that every challenge, every criticism, every setback was a necessary part of your transformation. It wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to forge you, to test you, to refine you, and to reveal the extraordinary strength that lives within you. They thought you were nobody. They thought your dreams were impossible. They thought you would fail. But failure never belonged to you. Resilience, faith, and determination did. And now, when they see you living the life they doubted, when they see your confidence, your power, and your unstoppable drive, they feel a mix of astonishment, regret, and shame. They are forced to witness the proof of what they refused to believe, the evidence of what they tried to dismiss, and the undeniable reality that you were always meant for greatness. And yet, your journey is not complete, because the rise is not the destination. The rise is the process, the persistence, the unrelenting pursuit of excellence that defines who you are. Keep moving, keep striving, keep building, because the moment they stop being the center of your attention is the moment you claim the full measure of your destiny. Let their doubt be fuel, not a distraction. Let their disbelief be motivation, not limitation. Let their shame remind you of the cost of underestimating greatness, but never allow it to distract you from your purpose. You have proven something far greater than them. You have proven to yourself that your life is not dictated by their opinions, by their limitations, or by their fear. You are the architect of your destiny, the captain of your soul, and the living proof that anyone who dares to believe in themselves, to work in silence, to stay committed when everyone else counts them out, will always rise above. And as you continue to rise, let the world take notice, not for revenge, not for validation, but for the sheer power of seeing someone who refused to be stopped by doubt, who refused to be shaken by fear, and who refused to let anyone else define their worth. The people who once scoffed, who once ignored, who once mocked your dreams, will look back and realize too late that the person they underestimated was the very person who would one day leave a legacy they could never achieve. And in they are silence, in their shame, in their quiet reflection on the magnitude of your success. Let it remind you that true greatness doesn't need applause, doesn't need recognition, and doesn't need validation. It thrives in resilience, in persistence, in faith, and in the courage to rise regardless of who is watching. So continue to move forward with unwavering belief in yourself, with fire in your heart, and with vision in your mind. Because the journey is yours alone, the triumph is yours to claim, and the proof of your greatness is something no one can ever take away. And as they sit in their astonishment, as they reflect on their misjudgment, as they feel the weight of their own underestimation, remember this: you are unstoppable, you are unbreakable, you are undeniable. They thought you would fail, they thought you would crumble, and they thought you were nobody, but now, the very life you are building, the legacy you are leaving, the strength you are showing, all serve as a testament to the truth that you were never nobody. You were always extraordinary, and they are the ones left in shame, forced to witness the rise of someone they refused to believe in, someone they underestimated, someone who refused to be defeated, and someone whose destiny was never theirs to judge but always yours to claim, from silence to supremacy. They can't ignore you anymore. There was a time when your presence was overlooked, when your voice seemed small, and when the world moved on as if you were invisible. They didn't see your potential. They didn't see the fire burning quietly within you. They didn't see the nights you spent learning, the hours you spent perfecting your craft, the sacrifices you made when nobody was watching. They thought you were irrelevant. They thought your dreams were fantasies, and they thought that the path you were walking would crumble beneath your feet before you even reached the first milestone. They underestimated you because they only looked at the surface. They didn't look deeper. They didn't see the grit, the determination, and the relentless focus that defined who you are. But here's the truth that they will never be able to ignore: your silence was never weakness. Your quiet was never complacency. Every moment that they doubted you, every glance that dismissed you, every snicker that mocked your ambition only strengthened you, only sharpened your resolve, and only fueled your hunger to rise. You were building something they couldn't see, preparing for a moment they couldn't imagine, and nurturing a power they couldn't measure. And now, that time has come. You have emerged from the shadows of doubt, from the silence of their disbelief, from the underestimation of their judgment, and you are standing tall in your purpose, undeniable in your strength, unstoppable in your momentum. The very people who once ignored you, who once laughed at you, who once whispered that you wouldn't make it, now watch in stunned silence, forced to acknowledge the force you have become. You see, success is never about proving them wrong. Success is about proving to yourself that your vision, your persistence, and your commitment were never in vain. It's about claiming the destiny that was always meant for you, regardless of the skeptics, regardless of the naysayers, regardless of the ones who tried to diminish your worth. And as you rise, you realize that the power of your journey is in your consistency, in your discipline, in the courage to keep moving when everyone else said stop, in the strength to keep believing when no one else did, in the determination to grow quietly while the world overlooked you. They thought silence meant surrender. They thought invisibility meant failure, but they forgot that the greatest power is often forged in silence, in solitude, and in the moments when the world isn't watching. And now that power is visible. Now that presence is undeniable. Now that influence cannot be ignored. And they feel it. They feel the sting of their own misjudgment, the weight of their underestimation, the reality that the person they disregarded has become a force they cannot escape, a presence that commands attention, and a life that reflects everything they failed to recognize. But here's the beauty of it. Their shame is not your reward. It is only a reflection of what they lost by doubting you. Your reward is in the life you've built, the growth you've achieved, the confidence you now carry, and the undeniable proof that persistence, faith, and self-belief always win when coupled with action. Every setback they thought would stop you became a lesson in resilience. Every rejection they threw your way became a stepping stone toward mastery. Every insult, every ridicule, every whisper, "Oh," doubt became the foundation for the unstoppable force you are today. They thought your time would never come. They thought your voice would never matter. They thought your light would never shine, but here you are, radiating strength, commanding presence, and undeniable influence, and there is nothing they can do to diminish it. Their disbelief has become their lesson, their shame has become your backdrop, and your rise has become the narrative they will always remember. You have shown them that true greatness is not defined by approval, not dictated by applause, and not measured by their perception. True greatness is forged in quiet determination, sustained by faith, built on resilience, and revealed through results. And now, standing in the fullness of your potential, you understand the most important lesson of all. You rise not to punish them, you rise to honor yourself, to claim your purpose, and to fulfill the destiny that was always yours. And while they wrestle with regret, disbelief, and shame, you continue to move forward, unstoppable, unwavering, and unapologetically powerful. Every goal you achieve, every milestone you surpass, every dream you manifest is a testament to the fact that they cannot stop what was meant to rise. You are the proof that belief in yourself, relentless effort, and unwavering faith in your vision always triumph over doubt, criticism, and disbelief. And the irony of it all is this: the higher you rise, the louder their shame echoes, the deeper their regret sinks, and the clearer the truth becomes that their underestimation was never about you. It was about the limits they placed on themselves, limits that you refused to accept for your L. Your journey is the living proof that destiny is claimed by those who refuse to bow to doubt, who refuse to be silenced by criticism, and who refuse to let anyone else's disbelief define their worth. And so, as you continue to rise, as you continue to shine, as you continue to expand into the life you were always meant to live, know this: they will never be able to unsee you. They will never be able to undo your progress. And they will never be able to erase the fact that you have become exactly who they said you could never be. They thought your silence meant weakness, your patience meant hesitation, and your humility meant insignificance. But now, they stand humbled, ashamed, and in awe of the unstoppable force you have become. And it is in that truth, that undeniable reality, that your ultimate power lies, not in their shame, not in their recognition, but in the knowledge that you believed in yourself when nobody else did, that you worked when nobody was watching, that you persevered when everyone counted you out, and that you refused to settle for anything less than the extraordinary life you were always meant to claim. You have shown that greatness is not given, it is earned. That respect is not demanded, it is commanded by action. That destiny is not defined by opinion, it is seized by those brave enough to believe, disciplined enough to act, and relentless enough to rise despite every obstacle. And now, as you continue your journey, as you continue to grow, as you continue to thrive, remember this: they thought you were nobody. They thought your voice didn't matter, and they thought you would fade into the background. But you didn't fade, you didn't bow, you didn't stop. You rose. And now they are left with nothing but the echoes of their own misjudgment, the shadow of their own doubt, and the undeniable truth that the person they thought was insignificant has become a presence so powerful, a life so full, and a force so unstoppable that their shame will be the only reminder of what they underestimated. And as they watch, as they reflect, as they realize too late the mistake they made in doubting you, know this: your rise was never about them. It was about claiming your life, your purpose, and your destiny, and in doing so, you have left an indelible mark on the world that no one, no matter how long they try, will ever be able to erase. The rise that shamed them, from overlooked to unstoppable. There was a time when they didn't see you, when they ignored your potential, when they assumed your life would be ordinary, your voice irrelevant, and your dreams unattainable. They laughed quietly behind closed doors, they whispered doubts to each other, and they treated your ambition as if it were nothing more than fantasy, as if your determination would burn out before it ever reached the world. They thought you were nobody, a footnote in their story, a person whose presence wouldn't matter, whose efforts wouldn't make a difference, and whose dreams would dissolve like smoke before they could take form. But they were mistaken. They didn't see the late nights, the sacrifices, the silent grinding when nobody was watching, the hours you spent building yourself, your skills, and your vision. They didn't see the resilience growing quietly in your heart, the fire igniting in your soul, and the unshakable belief that what was meant for you could never be taken away by disbelief, doubt, or mockery. Every insult, every dismissal, every whispered judgment became fuel for your ascent. Every time they tried to convince you that you were less than, every time they made you feel small, you were building strength, focus, and a relentless determination that no one could shake. And now, the person they overlooked, the person they dismissed, the person they counted out stands before them in power, in clarity, in undeniable purpose, a living testament to the fact that greatness cannot be suppressed, that potential cannot be silenced, and that dreams, nurtured with persistence, always rise. They are watching now, some with disbelief, some with envy, some with the quiet sting of shame, because the very individual they underestimated, the one they assumed would falter, has become unstoppable. Your rise is not an accident. It is not luck. It is the result of consistent effort, unwavering faith, relentless work, and a refusal to let their opinions dictate your path. While they spent their energy doubting, mocking, or underestimating, you spent yours preparing, building, and believing. They wanted you to fail. They hoped that obstacles, setbacks, and criticism would break you, but each challenge you faced only strengthened your resolve. Every moment of struggle became a stepping stone, every rejection a lesson in resilience, and every doubter a reminder of why you had to rise. And here you are, living proof that nothing outside of your own commitment can stop the ascent of someone determined to succeed. They thought silence meant surrender. They thought humility meant weakness. They thought patience meant passivity. But they didn't. Understand that quiet determination, strategic preparation, and relentless focus are the hallmarks of unstoppable power. They didn't understand that the climb to greatness is not always loud, that the seeds of extraordinary success are often planted in solitude, watered in persistence, and nurtured in faith. And now, as you shine, as you move forward with confidence, as you claim every victory and every milestone that was always yours, their shame becomes unavoidable, because the very person they mocked, the person they ignored, the person they treated as insignificant, has become undeniable. But your rise is not fueled by revenge, not driven by resentment, not sustained by their shame. It is fueled by purpose, by vision, and by the unshakable belief that your life is meant for more than their judgments. You didn't rise to humiliate them. You rose to honor yourself, to fulfill your potential, and to create the legacy that only you can leave. And yet the irony is that the higher you climb, the louder their shame echoes, the deeper their regret sinks, and the clearer the truth becomes. They underestimated a force they could never contain. They ignored a spirit they could never diminish, and they doubted a person whose destiny was always greater than their perception. They thought obstacles would stop you, that criticism would paralyze you, that doubt would consume you. But every challenge only revealed your strength. Every obstacle only sharpened your skills. And every moment of doubt only reinforced your belief in yourself. And now, standing in your power, they can only watch, helpless, as the person they disregarded lives a life they could not imagine, achieves success they never thought possible, and becomes the proof that belief, persistence, and action always triumph over underestimation and neglect. The rise that they never predicted, the power that they never anticipated, and the success that they never believed possible is the testament to your resilience, your discipline, your vision, and your unwavering commitment to yourself. And the beauty of it is this: their shame is irrelevant to your journey, because your victory is defined by your growth, your perseverance, your faith, and your refusal to let anyone else's opinion limit your potential. Let every glance of doubt, every whisper of disbelief, and every moment they counted you out serve as a reminder of the fire that was already inside you, the strength you cultivated in silence, and the destiny you claimed through relentless effort. They thought they could ignore you. They thought they could diminish you. They thought they could contain your potential. But now, every step you take, every goal you achieve, every vision you bring to life stands as undeniable proof that greatness cannot be constrained by the opinions of others. You have risen above the noise, above the negativity, above the limitations others tried to impose, and in doing so, you have not only claimed your place in the world, you have reshaped the narrative. And as they sit in awe, as they reflect in silence, as they feel the sting of having misjudged you, let that moment remind you of the power of persistence, the strength of belief, and the inevitability of those who refuse to settle for mediocrity rising to their full potential. Your journey teaches one thing clearly: never let anyone else define your limits, Nev, or allow doubt to dictate your path. Never surrender to criticism, and never allow underestimation to weaken your resolve. What they thought was weakness, what they dismissed as insignificance, what they counted as failure, has all transformed into the foundation of your success, the pillars of your confidence, and the proof of your unstoppable momentum. And now, as you continue to rise, continue to grow, continue to shine, know this: they will never forget the person they underestimated, the force they ignored, and the life they failed to believe in. Their shame will linger, but your triumph will endure. It is built on effort, on sacrifice, on vision, and on the courage to rise when no one else believed you could. And so, you move forward, unshaken, undeterred, and unstoppable, because your purpose, your destiny, and your greatness were never theirs to define. They were always yours to claim. And as they reflect on what they lost by doubting you, as they feel the weight of their own misjudgment, and as they watch you claim everything they never thought possible, know this: you were always meant to rise, you were always meant to shine, and they were never meant to stop you. They thought you were nobody. But now, standing in your power, living your truth, and claiming your destiny, they are left ashamed, forced to witness the force, the resilience, and the greatness they failed to recognize. And that, in itself, is a victory that belongs entirely to you. They tried dark magic on you. Now they're losing everything. There was a time when they tried to hold you down, to weaken your spirit, to sabotage your dreams, and to trap you in their negativity, their manipulation, and the dark intentions. They tried to convince you that you weren't capable, that your vision was too big, that your purpose was unreachable, and that your light would never shine. They whispered lies, spread rumors, and planted seeds of doubt, hoping that fear, despair, and self-doubt would take root and hold you hostage in a life far below your potential. They attempted every trick, every scheme, every manipulation, every ounce of their power, trying to bend reality in their favor and push you into defeat. But here's the truth they couldn't see, the reality they refused to understand, the unshakable force they underestimated. What is meant for you cannot be stopped by darkness, cannot be held down by manipulation, and cannot be taken away by anyone else's malicious intent. You see, every time they tried to weaken you, every time they whispered lies, every time they cast doubt and negativity your way, you were quietly, deliberately, and powerfully growing stronger. You were building resilience, cultivating clarity, and harnessing a strength that would make their schemes collapse, not through confrontation, but through unwavering focus, persistence, and faith in your own destiny. They tried dark magic on you. They tried to manipulate the unseen forces of life against you, to twist circumstances, and to bend reality to their favor. But they didn't account for one thing: the power that lives inside of you, the force that cannot be touched by evil, the fire that cannot be extinguished by ill intentions, and the destiny that cannot be stolen by anyone else. And now, while they watch helplessly, their schemes failing, their strategies unraveling, their plans collapsing, they are said to witness the very life they sought to destroy rising beyond their reach, shining beyond their comprehension, and achieving beyond their imagination. Their attempts to limit you, to harm you, to stop you have only strengthened you, sharpened your focus, and revealed the depth of your resilience, clarity, and purpose. And the irony is that the darker their intentions, the more powerful your rise becomes. Because light is always revealed in the presence of darkness, strength is always forged under pressure, and greatness always emerges when the world tries to suppress it. Every time they plotted, every time they wished, every time they hoped, and every time they acted to hinder you, the universe was conspiring in your favor, the lessons were shaping your character, and the obstacles were creating the momentum you needed to rise with unstoppable force. They tried to corrupt your peace, but you became untouchable. They tried to taint your vision, but your clarity sharpened. They tried to manipulate your path, but your focus became unbreakable. And now, as the results of their actions crumble around them, as their plans fail spectacularly, as their schemes turn to dust, they are left with nothing but shame, disbelief, and regret, forced to witness the undeniable truth. The person they tried to break has not only survived, they have thrived. And the beauty of this is that you rise not for revenge, not to gloat, not to prove them wrong, but because you are committed to your purpose, your destiny, and your life. Your success is not a punishment for them. It is a reflection of what is possible when someone refuses to be stopped by darkness, refuses to be shaken by evil, and refuses to let malicious intent determine the course of their life. Your rise is proof that no matter how dark the forces around you, no matter how many obstacles are thrown your way, and no matter how deeply others wish for your failure, your destiny cannot be altered, your purpose cannot be denied, and your light cannot be extinguished. They tried dark magic on you, but what they failed to understand is that the universe, life, and your own unshakable spirit are aligned in your favor. They cannot undo what was meant to happen. They cannot erase what was already written, and they cannot stop the rise of someone who refuses to surrender to fear, despair, or manipulation. And as you move forward, as you achieve every milestone, as you conquer every obstacle, as you turn every dream into reality, they are left to witness the collapse of their own schemes, the futility of their actions, and the undeniable power of a life lived with purpose, faith, and relentless determination. Your triumph is not about them, it is about you. It is about your resilience, your courage, your persistence, your vision, and your refusal to let darkness define your path. It is about the fact that nothing outside of you can control the life you are destined to live. And while they are losing everything they tried to use against you, you are gaining everything that was meant for you: clarity, peace, success, influence, and the fulfillment of your potential. Every attempt to bring you down only became a lesson in your power. Every act of sabotage became a reminder of your unbreakable spirit. And every scheme they deployed only highlighted the unstoppable force that you have become. And so let their failure, their regret, their shame, and their loss be a testament to the strength, focus, and determination you cultivated in silence, the resilience you built in adversity, and the vision you pursued relentlessly when others tried to block your path. They tried to manipulate your reality. They tried to hinder your growth. They tried to steal your peace, and they tried to destroy your destiny, but none of it worked. Instead, it all became a platform for your rise, a catalyst for your success, and a stage for the unstoppable power you now demonstrate. In every action, every decision, every achievement, and every moment of your life. And as you continue to move forward, as you continue to shine, as you continue to achieve and grow beyond what they ever imagined, know this: they will never be able to erase the truth. They will never be able to undo what has been built, and they will never be able to stop what is already unstoppable. They tried dark magic on you, but your faith, your resilience, your focus, and your unwavering commitment to your life ensured that they are the ones losing everything while you rise stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. And as they sit in the rubble of their own plans, as they reflect on their misdeeds, as they watch you live in triumph, let it be clear: the person they tried to destroy has become the living proof that nothing, no matter how dark, no matter how manipulative, no matter how powerful it seems, can stand in the way of a soul determined to rise, a spirit committed to its purpose, and a life destined for greatness. Your light cannot be dimmed, your path cannot be diverted, and your destiny cannot be stolen. They tried dark magic on you, but in the end, it is they who are losing everything, and it is you who are claiming everything that was always yours, proving that when someone refuses to be broken, refuses to be shaken, and refuses to surrender to negativity, nothing in this world, even the darkest schemes, can stop their rise, their success, and their unstoppable power.